Hey guys, we're going to try to fit all this video into one. So arthropods. Now with arthropods, we see all the 5 different groups. We hope to talk about them all. And another thing you'll notice, we can break down the name. Arthro, like arthritis, means joints hurt. Pod, means foots. So, jointed feet or appendages. That's what they're going to all have in common. Now, some of the other general characteristics, or general types, we have the insects. We have arachnids. Notice spiders are down here. We have centipedes, and we have millipedes. And then finally, we have the crustacean group. Now, classification. Here's the simple one. Arthropods, they break down into these 5 groups. Insects break down further. Here's the more complex. Kingdom Animalia, phylum Arthropoda, and then we break it down into the different categories. You can see where each group lies. Now, their characteristics. Means jointed. That's what arthro means. Now, if you saw from last time, we circled those. A little bit ahead. We knew gastropod meant stomach-footed. Cephalopod meant head-footed. So hopefully you can put together that pod means foot. So all arthropods have jointed appendages. Kind of a big deal. You don't have it, you don't get in our group. Now, with general arthropod characteristics, they have appendages. Let me get rid of the banana here. You'll see why it's up here in a bit. Legs, antennae, claws, pincers. You can see them all on that image over there if you want to stop and pause. Now, the other things, they have segmented bodies, abdomen, thorax, and head. All right? From 2 segments to many. We see 2 to 3 to many. Now, exoskeletons. Hard, thick outer coverings. They're kind of like armor for insects, but they do so much more. Now, since this armor doesn't grow as they grow, they need to molt. That means they leave behind their old body, and they escape out of it, and they have a new body that's moist and can grow. You see this with cicadas often. I know I've hung these on plenty of people's hoods or shirts, or maybe even put it in their hair. Now, with general arthropod characteristics, they're going to have bilateral symmetry. Now, bilateral symmetry, that goes along with having a digestive system. Mouth and anus. Goes in one end, comes out the other end. Now, these body cavities are kind of a big deal. We first saw them with our segmented worms and our mollusks. So we continue that trend. Most insects have separate sexes. But with insects, it's a little bit different than mammals. Insects have males that are smaller and females that are bigger, where mammals are the opposite. Insects do not include spiders. Sorry for the grammar mistake, science and math, but not English and lit. All right? The largest animal group is the insect group. It's bigger than all the other groups combined. Yet when we think animals, we never think insects. They are a part of our animal kingdom. Now, the insects have body segments. We have head, thorax, abdomen. They all have their special jobs. Thorax, that's where all the appendages, or almost all the appendages, are attached. Abdomen, well, you'll see their special thing with respiration here in a bit. The head, the thorax, and the abdomen. All right, those are the 3 main categories. Insect exoskeletons do lots of things for the insects. They're hard. That's a protection mechanism. They're thick. They have an outer covering that protects them, much like your phones. Lightweight. They are a support system. They don't have skeletal systems to pull against. They protect them, and they keep them from drying out. That's a little known part of it. Now, insects go from eggs to adult in either a complete metamorphosis or incomplete. When you see the 4 stages for the complete egg, larva, pupa, and adult. Because our kindergarten teacher has always read The Hungry Little Caterpillar, you probably will know that the butterfly is a part of this group. Now, with knowing that, they go from egg, larva, pupa, then to adult. Fleas do this as well. Egg, larva, pupa, and adult, as do the mosquitoes. Now, incomplete metamorphosis have only 3 stages. The egg, the nymph, which just looks like a small adult, and then the adult. We have our beetles, we have our grasshoppers, and dragonflies here. The only stages seem to be the egg and then what looks like the adult except in smaller version. That's an incomplete metamorphosis. No pupa stage, no complete change. Now, insects obtain food, insects, not other groups, insects only, with either mandibles, a long siphon, or piercing mouth parts. Mandibles, they're used for chewing plant tissue. They drink nectar with their long siphons, or they pierce and drink and suck blood or plant fluids with the piercing ones. Now, an example might be a grasshopper, an example might be butterflies, or an example for the other one might be mosquitoes and fleas. Arachnids. Now we've moved to this group. Earlier we said spiders were not a part of the insect group. They are a part of the arachnid group. Spiders, scorpions, mites, and ticks. All right. Now, arachnid characteristics. To get in this group, you must have 2 body segments. A combined head and thorax, the legs attached to the thorax portion, and an abdomen. No antennae or wings. Can't have those things. They have 4 pairs of legs, and if you did the math, you would know... Oh, we went backwards. If you did the math, you would know that's 8. They will kill their prey with venom. And spiders often put a fluid into their victims to dissolve their innards, and they suck out those liquids to then feed themselves. Millipedes and centipedes, well, they're kind of a group all to their own. And millipede, milli meaning 1,000, centi meaning 100. Well, they don't have 1,000, they don't have 100, but they have 2 for every pair, where they only have 1 for every pair. And that is what distinguishes them from one another. Milli, since it means 1,000, they get the more. Centi, 100, they get the less. We also have crustaceans. What a delightful delicacy. All right, crustacean characteristics. They have antennae, mandibles for crushing things. Most have claws, and most live in water. Now, arthropod respiration varies for all the groups in the way they collect their air. Insects use spiracles. We'll find out where those are in a bit. Spiders use book lungs, and they're called that because they look like a book that's leafed open. Crustaceans use gills. Now the gas goes in and out with holes on the abdomen. Gas goes in and out with holes on the abdomen. And water's forced in and out by holes on the, well, they go through the swimmerets, and the swimmerets are on the abdomen. Now, crustaceans have an open circulatory system. This is kind of surprising since they can move so fast, but the crazy thing is their small size allows them, even with this ineffective circulatory system, to be very active and to be very successful. And that's all we have about that. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good evening.